Welcome to Inside Design with Kandrac and Kole. This podcast is a conversation between two business partners, Joanne Kandrac and Kelly Kole. Join us for a lively conversation about all things interior design, from current projects, trade show experiences, worldwide travel, what's in, what's out, and all the challenges and wins they've had running their successful design business. Whether you're a seasoned interior designer, new to the industry, or a creative enthusiast, you will walk away with insightful information, newfound inspiration, and a smile on your face after listening to these two. And here they are, Joanne and Kelly.
Hey there, thanks for joining us. This is episode 144 of Inside Design with Kandrac and Kole. And today we're talking about a factory tour we took to Kohler, Wisconsin. So we won this amazing trip when we were in Cancun at the C-Next event for Cosentino. And we won a weekend to go to the Kohler factory and stay in their hotel there and get a tour of their operation. So we love to get a behind-the-scenes look at different brands to see their manufacturing, their company culture, and just how they operate. So we're going to tell you all about that today.
And did you want to mention that this is our first episode on video?
This is our first episode on video. So if you're listening, you can now also watch on YouTube.
Yes. So if we look nervous or we're trying to figure this out, that's why. We're not used to looking at a camera while we're talking. Okay. So we want to let you know before we get started that this episode is sponsored by Studio Designer. And Studio Designer is a project management, product sourcing, and accounting platform for the interior design industry. And we have used it for
15 years at least.
15 years. It's the software of all of our behind the scenes. So it's designer specific software that features all in one project management system. So you can propose, order, invoice all project items, as well as track team activities. So they've been in business for 30 plus years and are near and dear to our hearts because we've been working with them for so long. So we don't know how we would run our business without the system. Seriously, we would track how we would.
It keeps us completely organized.
And we can go back 15 years and we can get the exact, if a client calls 10 years later and says, my sofa needs new cushions or whatever, we can go back and tell you the exact item number, what the fabric was,
the day we ordered it, who the manufacturer was. All the information is still there. It's really
it's great because their files are archived probably. And anyway, so there's that.
So they are offering our listeners an exclusive offer. They will give you $100 off any Studio Designer onboarding service. The offer is valid through December 31st of this year. So if you're an interior designer and you are not using an industry-specific software, you really need to check out Studio Designer, studiodesigner.com.
Check them out.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So we got to talk all about this trip because it was 3 days of heaven.
It was really amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you think you're going to Wisconsin and okay, we're going to Wisconsin, but it was a 1.5 hour flight from Atlanta.
So easy.
We flew into Milwaukee, and then we had a 1 hour drive to the American Club.
Yep.
Which we heard was amazing, but to experience it was
first of all, there's a Kohler Village in Kohler, Wisconsin, and so it's a true garden community. It was designed by the Olmsted brothers. They did it in the mid-20s, and I believe they're the same ones that designed Central Park in New York City.
Built more a ton of places.
So the streets are wide and they're tree-lined. It's like Mayberry. And I just can't believe people live there. But the homes are so charming. They're like Tudor.
They're like little chalets.
Oh, they're just great.
Really cute.
But it only has a population of about 2,000 people and covers 3.5 acres or
5 miles or something.
Or 5 square miles. That's right. So anyway, one of the best places to go in Wisconsin. So bars, restaurants, shops.
I heard the schools are supposed to be really amazing too.
Yeah.
So it's like I think it's one of the best places to live in Wisconsin from what I've heard. And I can see why. I'd live there.
Because we were literally flying in like, who lives in Wisconsin? What do Wisconsin people do? It was like being on another planet.
It was just like the experience of this place, like when we got picked up by a driver and when they pulled up to the American Club, it was like, I don't know, I felt like we were transformed into another place. It was like a brick, older, large home. It used to be, I guess it used to be a home.
Yeah.
And the service was amazing. So, they were right there to grab our bags and smile and hold the door. And so from the very beginning, you can feel like it's a very special place, and they make you feel really special.
Yes. So this it's a 5-star, 5-diamond resort. And I didn't look up the difference, but anyway, it's fancy. It's just fancy. And I had to go and get a Whistling Straits golf shirt, of course, for my husband, and he loved it.
Well, I'm not a golfer. I don't know much about golf courses, but from what we found out, Whistling Straits is a pretty famous golf course. And
anybody that's watching that's a golfer is going, duh. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it had the 2015 PGA Championship there, and last year they had the Ryder Cup there. Mm-hmm. So it was a big deal. We saw a bunch of guys.
Yeah, it's a good place for a guys trip, girls trip, for sure.
Oh yeah, because the girls can go to the spa, which we will tell you all about that.
Yes. So did I miss it, or did you already talk about the American Club being where the immigrants live that built the factory?
No, we can talk about that.
Okay. So this is where the immigrants came from, I want to say, Poland and other several countries to build the Kohler factory, and they housed them and fed them for $29 a month, I think.
Yeah.
And they really encouraged that, or they had a few requirements when they were living there, right? They'd learn the history of the area. Mm-hmm. They had to learn English. And anyway, they wanted them to assimilate and bring their families and grow and live there for the rest of their lives.
And how great that they were all together with their people. And it wasn't a house before. They built it to be housing.
Yes.
For the immigrants.
Yes.
But there is a restaurant downstairs, the hotel is like, it's got the old hardwood floors. It just smells old.
I loved it.
But it's so clean. And so downstairs there is a restaurant called the Immigrant. Oh, one of the best meals I've ever had in my entire life, I have to say.
Yep.
And so, amazing. Yeah. So there's so much history in the hotel. When you walk through, there's a Wisconsin room, and there's these beautiful cabinets, and inside the cabinets are handwritten letters, or there's awards, or there are all these different things that show the history of the American Club.
Mm-hmm. So we're talking about this because if you're a designer, you can go to Kohler and you can have this experience. We happen to have won it, so everything was
the public
courtesy. But the public
can
designers can go, and go on the factory tour and go to the spa. And we've done this several times with other manufacturers, whether it be Brizo or
Lexington
Vanguard, True Style Doors, Cutter Woodworking, and you really you get really immersed in the brand, and your allegiance grows, and you really come in love with the product. And it's the best way to do it is to go and do these kind of trips.
Well, it's funny because Kohler has this mission, and I'll read it to you because I think it speaks to their culture and the way they feel about their company. Mm-hmm. To enhance the level of gracious living for all those people touched by our products and services, celebrating 150 years next year, it's still family-owned under fifth-generation leadership, David Kohler. He's the CEO, and Laura Kohler is the Senior VP, HR and Social Impact. So a company of this size, still family run, and you can see the pride in the employees. That was really, really evident.
I mean, fifth generation. Yeah. Where were we where we were learning about how most companies these days don't make it past the third generation? Yeah. Who was telling us that? I can't remember. We were on another tour.
But the Sperlings Maxim Lighting, that's another one where the generations have continued on. I think it's pretty awesome.
So cool. Yeah. So we go on the factory tour, and the factory tour are given by retired employees, and our tour guide Jean was totally amazing. But Kohler employs about 30,000 people worldwide. So
Yep.
we were very impressed to see where all the products are made.
We got to see a lot of the things happening right there. It was interesting because, the Kelly asked the question. There were people in there, but not a lot of people for as huge as this factory was.
It was a 3-hour tour. And I'm like, where are the people?
Well, there were so many robots. They just
a little
said
sad.
to keep up with the technology, they have to use the robots. But then there's definitely some things that have to be done manually. And so we ended up watching. Well, there were a few things that I didn't know about Kohler. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about that was probably one of my favorite things was after the tour, we went into the archives, which was a room that housed all of the old toilets, the old tubs with all the colors.
That was so cool. It was so cool. Colors. I love to see all the old colors. Like, avocado green and blush and baby blue and things that you would go into a remodel and think, oh my God, that's so tacky. I got to get it out. But I liked them.
What's funny is when you go into an old home like that, the tiles were those colors too, like the yellow.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was really cool. And then they had all of the old advertisements in there, the Better Homes and Gardens that showed the old tubs. And they even had, which I thought was really interesting, was they had a huge framed list of names. I don't know how many names were on that.
Oh yes, that was beautiful.
But it was all of the people that had worked for Kohler who had served in the war,
World War II. Yes,
and all of their names, recognizing all of them. And then they had stars. There weren't that many, thank goodness. But then they had a star next to the ones who did not survive.
Yes.
So they really care about the history. Like there's so much history. They've retained so many things. Like if you're a history buff, you could spend a lot of time in that archive space. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, it was cool. So we did the factory tour. We did the
archives.
Oh,
then we went to the actual offices where the marketing people are and stuff.
Yes.
So modern, so, just very open and modern and cool and full art. And it
was really cool.
Yeah.
I like to see where other people work.
Yeah. A lot of windows, the views, it's just we were there a beautiful time of year, with all the leaves and stuff.
So then I don't know if it was that day or the next day. It was a quick tour.
It was the day of the tour that we went to.
We went to the spa.
It's called the Kohler Water Spa. Another one, I want to say that I read something like, look at this. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's on your screen.
Oh
look
my God.
At we didn't do that water, whatever that service is she's having right there, but I could have been there for days.
Well, it's like world renowned too. It's like I want to say I read something that said that it's only one of 85 in the world to have a certain. Let's see if I can find what it was. Nope, I don't remember. I don't think I wrote it down, but it is like no spa I'd ever been to. We spent
the day there, and we each had 2 services, and then we spent time in all the pools. They had a cold plunge pool, and then a warm, not a jacuzzi,
steam
but
room, sauna,
hot bath. And so we could do sauna, steam room, plunge,
whirlpool.
cold, hot. It was that cold, hot thing, man. It works.
Yeah.
It works. If you got joint pain or your legs are hurting, it's really good.
So we both had the CBD wrap, the exfoliating CBD wrap. So they just exfoliated all of your skin, and then they put, and then when you went into a shower, there's a shower right in the room, and then the jets and the sprays, of course, all Kohler products.
Yep.
So amazing. And then you dry off, and then you get, while you're
the
in
moisturizer that they put on was had CBD in it, and then they wrapped you
inside, and then they wrapped you in a warm towel, like you're like in this little cocoon.
But it was like a hot weighted blanket on top of that.
It was really,
and then they did the facial massage. I almost died. It was heaven.
It was really.
And then
really
we each after that went to our own facials, and I had dermaplaning for the first time, where they take
She's nice and
my skin, and we had they take a very, very sharp.
Oh wait. I have to stop you for a minute because you see that.
Okay, stop. Look at the screen.
See that plunge thing? I sat there. Okay, and there's a little seat there.
Oh, that's where we were in the back. Those 2 lounges in the back.
Well, where that waterfall is coming down, I actually sat there, and then all that water was beating on my back. It's it's amazing.
Nice. It was very nice. Yeah. It's kind of like in a cocoon. You're not supposed to really talk and got to be really quiet. So, okay, back to my hydroplaning because that's not right.
Yeah.
Dermaplaning. I saw the water and I said dermaplaning. Anyway, they take a really, really sharp razor and very carefully basically remove all of the hair from your entire face so that and then she did a chemical peel. So what?
Get a little closer to the microphone.
So it was fantastic. Yeah. My makeup went on like smooth as
an experience. Really, I will just really never forget. Like for every moment that we were there. I mean, a spa, of course, is always amazing. And then they have a little room where you can go buy the products. So there was something called this marine mist that they sprayed on you that smelled like, I can't even imagine.
It had like seaweed and all these very nutrient rich, blah, 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 blah. Last night, I was spraying it on my face because I love the smell and it's very like refreshing. And I asked Mike if I'm like, let me spray this on your face. He was like, oh, what is it? I'm like, dude, you gotta luxuriate a little bit. Yeah. So you love the spa.
Yeah. One of the other things that I was thinking about. So then the next day we went to the design center. That's where all the eye candy and what we were really looking forward to seeing the faucets and the bidets, the washlets. Now that's something, I'm not sure if we've talked about it before, but when we've gone to different events like that bathroom faucet. I mean, all of
black
the
and the brass.
faucets,
I just love it so much.
They're just beautiful. Their finishes are just absolutely beautiful, and the designs are just they're like the jewelry of the
jewelry of the bathroom.
Jewelry of the bathroom, but. The bidets, when we've gone to KBIS, that's where we learn and get to see a lot of the products. And so, Toto has their washlets and Kohler has their washlets, but they all offer something that I don't think the average person ever thinks to purchase unless they've had experience with it.
Or a designer tells them they have to have it, which is what we do with our clients. They're like, what's that? Don't worry about it. You have to have it.
So it's, it's a washlet. It cleans and it dries, but there's the really basic ones and the fancy ones that have, chromotherapy and the
music.
The lid opens by itself and, it can be digital and all that kind of stuff. But it makes so much sense because I feel like when I had surgery, my husband bought me one when I had shoulder surgery and I couldn't shower as often as I wanted to. So it kind of helps for that. I think for the elderly who also showering every day and getting in and out of a bathtub is risky.
Yep.
And then even with children,
they never
learning to potty train and, it's just a really great thing to have. And I don't think most people are familiar with it if you don't, if you're unaware of it.
Yeah. So you can get it all in one piece, like you just saw on the screen, or you can get just kind of the topper. And that is a big price variance.
Yeah. And you just need to have power in your bathroom. And that's usually a pretty easy thing. You can get an electrician to come and do.
Yes.
But so also in the design center, they had like working showers.
So you could test them all and
the body sprays and the rain showers and the ones where the technology is where you can set what you want. You can set the way you want the body sprays. You can set the temperature so that when you go in, it's going to be right. Talk about luxury.
I know, right?
I mean, you almost
kind
feel
like
so spoiled.
You have
like
setting one and setting two. So my setting is different than Mike's because his legs are so much longer. It's the same with the shower. You have you see it on your screen, the little digital controls on the outside of the shower. So you press, number one for yourself, and everything is the way you like it, including temperature.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
They've really got it going on. And when you walk in there, you just, oh my God.
I mean, digital showering. See, if you weren't listening to us, you probably would never even know this. So it's great. I mean, look what's out there in the world. It's really good. Yeah. So what else?
Touchless faucets.
Oh, the touchless faucets. They have their faucets. You can wave.
It's a wave
completely in front of it. And we can't use our hands too much because we're dealing with our camera that moves if we raise our hands. So if we look like we're frozen, it's why our camera's following us. Anyway, but I love the touchless faucets for a whole bunch of reasons. Just, it just for cleanliness, for germs, for for, when your hands are icky and you just can turn the water on so easily.
We put it on our Instagram story. There is actually a faucet that hung from the ceiling.
Oh, it was so
it came, I don't want to lift my arm up, but it came down and then you were able to go from side to side. And it looked really cool.
It did.
I mean, if you really want to make a statement with a faucet, that's definitely the one.
Yeah. So if we're encouraging you to go to the Kohler website because you're listening to us, let us just remind you, because everybody asks us this, that yes, you can mix metals. So what you'll see when you look at the website is you might see like black and brass, which is one of my personal favorite combinations. You'll see it on bathroom faucets, kitchen faucets, etc. But if you have, let's say you have a certain chandelier or something in your bathroom, or the sconces or light fixtures are a certain color, and you can't get your finish quite right, I feel like that's where matte black is very helpful. I feel like it goes with everything. Mm-hmm. And so just remember, you can totally mix and match.
And then sinks. Oh my God, there were so many sinks. The galley type sinks that are long, where you can put, your strainer in there and you have a cutting board, and the options, really, they make everything. Mm-hmm. They make everything really, really great.
And I particularly liked some of the tubs, the freestanding tubs. I thought they were just the way they had a little feminine lines to them, but they weren't overdone. They were very simple, but not too simple.
I think Kohler has some of the best looking tubs.
I do too.
In the industry. I really do.
Yeah.
But we have to give a huge shout out to Jennifer Kading. She is their marketing person, and she is the one who took care of us and stayed with us the whole time. And she's worked there
for 15 years.
Yeah. Once again, another employee who really is proud to work for Kohler, was so gracious and just treated us so wonderfully.
We had such a good time.
And she gave us these awesome water bottles.
Yeah. Love them.
Yes.
Glass.
So it was a trip really that I'll just never forget. I mean, it was very, very special.
Yes. And like I said, it's something that anybody can do, but especially if you're a designer, or if you just want like a girl guy trip.
Yeah.
There were so many golfers at the American Club.
And then there were so many women. At the spa. So what a great trip. You go there, you stay in this amazing place. The guys golf. You guys go to the spa. Amazing restaurants.
And then go home.
Wisconsin.
Yeah. Who would have thunk it?
Who knew?
But we really enjoyed ourselves. And it helps us be better designers, because our clients really rely on us to know product facts and know what to recommend for their homes. And so we have to immerse ourselves like this to learn the fine details.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, just being in business as long as we have, and dealing with different contractors or whatever. And you'll talk to a plumber and some will say, oh yeah, we don't get too many issues with Kohler, or we don't, or please don't use that. There's a lot of callbacks on this brand. So it's good to kind of know and just be as immersed in your business as much as you possibly can, because it just helps us to sell it and feel good about selling it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we were exposed to a lot on that tour, and feel like we can speak to, so much more of it than we used to be able to. So yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. Who knew? Wisconsin.
There it is, Wisconsin.
I have a newfound love for Kohler, Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. All right, quotes.
Okay.
Which one you want?
I want the serious one.
Okay. I'll do the funny one. See, I'm already laughing because it's a good one. All right. You can't just say you don't plan to work on your vacation. You don't have to lie about your access to internet. It's not 2005. Damn.
Seriously, there's very few places that you cannot get internet.
It used to be so nice to be like, no access.
Yes.
When we first started to go to Guatemala. Yeah. Sorry. We're off the charts. We're off the grid. You can't reach us.
But
sorry. No, not anymore.
You're busted now.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we were at the factory in Kohler, no photos allowed, but there was one little section that we walked through, and there was a wall that had this quote on it. And I just pulled out my phone and it's click. So this is the quote.
Okay.
And it's from David Kohler.
Yes.
He did this. He said this in 2008. He's the 4th generation president and CEO. Business success doesn't matter much if we can't say we left the world a better place than we found it. It's so nice.
That's so true.
Yeah, I'm so impressed with this Kohler family. I really am. I mean, it's
awesome.
Just so, and I don't know, with all this crazy stuff going on in the world, it's just nice to, have some positive stuff going on.
Yeah. So we are today. We usually record on Tuesdays, and you don't listen to it until the following Friday. But we are leaving in 4 days for the High Point Furniture Market show that we have talked about many times on the show. So next episode, that's what we're talking about, right?
All the trends, all the things, everything that we saw. Seen. Yeah, it's gonna be
It'll be a good one.
Yes,
it'll be a real good one.
So we want to thank Studio Designer for sponsoring this episode, and we would love to have you guys subscribe to start watching us on YouTube.
Yeah, we hope we did okay on our very first video.
Yeah, when we did our first audio, you couldn't see all of our faces and whatever. So
behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, so we hope you enjoyed it, and as always, thanks so much for listening.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Join Joanne and Kelly for a new episode every other Friday as they continue to explore the nuances of the interior design business with the goal of informing, inspiring, and entertaining their listeners. See their work at Kandrac-Kole.com and engage with them on Facebook and Instagram at Kandrac Kole.